Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill just dropped today. They just signed it this morning, I believe. It has now been enacted into legislation, and I don't know much about it, to be honest with you. I've heard some things. I've heard lots of people are going to be kicked off of their Medicaid or Medicare or whatever. I've heard that it is one of the more expensive bills that has ever been passed. Thank you, Trump. I thought we were doing the whole not spending a lot thing, but thank you nonetheless. All of the expenses, though, are going toward the top earners in the country, not the average citizen. So if you make over, what I've heard is if you make over $250,000, congratulations, you will be seeing a payday. But otherwise, you're So I don't know very much about it. I'm sure Bernie Sanders here does. Let's see what our king, God King Bernie Sanders has to say.
Very much for joining me. Let me be very clear. Trump's so-called...
I thought I would do a little bit of news for once today. I think it's a good change of pace.
Big, beautiful bill, now on the floor of the Senate, is one of the most dangerous pieces of legislation ever brought forth in the modern history of our country.
Good stuff.
It is a gift to the billionaire class while causing massive pain for working families. Actually, I'm wrong. I shouldn't use the word gift because the billionaires paid for it. This bill is an absolute reflection of a corrupt campaign finance system. The billionaires invest hundreds of millions of dollars in candidates and in elections. And in this bill, this piece of legislation, their investment is paying off. So, what are they getting? Well, the top 1% is receiving.
One thing that I'm glad that got struck out of the bill, it was like 99-1, is the AI regulations. States will still be allowed to put regulations on AI, and thank God for that, because why the was that even in the bill to begin with? Like, AI is a blight on society. I hate it. I hate everything about it, and we should regulate the out of it, if not destroy it. I'm talking full caveman. Take some mallets in, take some big old those old baseball bat looking things that the cavemen carry, and just bash the machines. Okay, go full ape mode on it. I'm tired of AI. I'm sick and tired of the slop infesting my society. Get rid of it.
Receiving $975 billion in tax breaks.
Good stuff.
Further, and this is really quite unbelievable, the wealthiest 0.2% receive a 211.
That's 0.2. The top 0.2% for anybody who's not very good at math.
$1 billion estate tax break. $211 billion for the top 0.2%.
You're putting
in
on
that
the
provision,
outfit.
I forgot that was a thing you can do.
99.8% of Americans get zero.
I'm not putting on the maid outfit.
Large corporations in this bill get a $918 billion tax break. That is what the 1% and the wealthy campaign contributors get. So here's what you get, assuming you're not a billionaire.
That's me.
This bill
That's you, probably.
throws over 16 million people.
Do I have any billionaires watching me? If you are, leave a comment, and also leave me at least enough money to pay off all of my debts. Thank you.
Will offer the health insurance they have by slashing Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act by over $1.1 trillion.
Cool.
So,
I hate healthcare.
$1 trillion in tax breaks for the 1%, $1 trillion in cuts in Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act. Further, it forces millions of Medicaid recipients to pay a $35 copayment every time they visit a doctor.
Cool.
So what is the impact of all this? What happens when you throw 16 million people off health care?
A lot of them die. I'll answer that for you. A lot of them die. And those who don't just have worse health outcomes. There's no positive here. I know he'll say all of this, but let's be real. The administration is murdering people as we speak. They're murdering people. Let's be real. They are straight up killing the poor, okay? Let's be real.
Impose a $35 copayment. Well, what the Yale School of Public Health and the University of Pennsylvania estimate is that if this
the cuts to Medicaid went up after leaving the Senate, love that for us.
Reconciliation bill is enacted, and it's unbelievable for me to say this, but this is what they are telling us. This is what they have studied.
Okay.
If this bill goes through, and all these healthcare cuts take place,
it did.
Over 50,000 Americans will die unnecessarily each and every year. 50,000 Americans.
Okay, when I call conservatives a plague, this is what I mean. COVID-19 killed many Americans, okay? Let's look it up. Let's do an exact comparison. Okay, the figure stood at 1,813,188 deaths in 2020. It's a lot less now, thankfully. But, like, we're talking 50,000 deaths per year from the conservatives and their policies, right? Granted, that's a fraction of this. But it's not as though that number is going to get better as time goes on. Okay? It's going to get worse. So while COVID started really bad and we found a cure and it's getting better, we don't have a cure for conservatism. Like, it's just going to get worse. More and more people are going to die. The death toll is going to go up instead of down. And, yeah, that's why I call it... honestly, they're worse than a plague, if we're being real. Because, well, like I said, it's just going to get worse. Conservatism is a plague, is my point.
This bill is a horrific death sentence for low income and working class Americans.
Good stuff.
Further, if this legislation is enacted, rural hospitals all over the country that are already struggling would be forced to shut down. It would also make massive cuts to community health centers and nursing homes. In other words,
I work nursing homes. If there's one thing they need, it's less money, right? Less money and less employees. They definitely are overstaffed at those nursing homes, right?
This legislation is the most significant attack on the healthcare needs of the American people.
The CDC disrecommend vaccines? Yeah, because the CDC's been like overtaken by dumbasses.
In the modern history of our country. So, our healthcare system is broken, it's dysfunctional, and they make it even worse. And that's not all.
Oh, thank you.
This bill wipes out nutrition assistance for millions of hungry kids at a time when we have the highest rate of childhood poverty of nearly any major nation on earth.
That's insane.
This bill will also make it much harder for working class kids to receive the higher education they need by cutting education by some $350 billion.
Who needs educated people in their country?
At a time when the planet is struggling with climate change.
Climate change is fake anyway.
All over the world.
And I'm glad that climate change is fake, because with the weather getting as much hotter as it is, that I need a fan on the side of my desk because the AC isn't cutting it. You know, it is getting a lot hotter this summer than it has been in past summers, but nonetheless, I am very glad that climate change is fake, because if it were real, that increase in temperature this year, just the happenstantial increase in temperature would really be concerning to me.
This bill decimates
it would make me think that there's some kind of emergency
and sustainable energies like wind and solar.
Cool. Who needs it?
If you are concerned about how the United States keeps getting into never-ending wars, this bill makes a bad situation even worse by handing out another $150 billion to the Pentagon, a 15% increase in an already bloated Pentagon budget.
Something Trump bragged about, by the way. The military budget, I believe, now exceeds $1 trillion for the first time in American history. Gotta feed the war machine, but feed the war, not the poor, right? Feed the war, not the poor.
Now, I want to applaud all of the Democrats, every single one of them, who strongly oppose this bill. And I want to congratulate two Republicans, Senators Paul and Senator Tillis, for voting with the Democrats in opposition.
Didn't Ron Paul vote in opposition because he's like, no, it's not evil enough. It must be more evil. It must be worse. I don't think we have tortured the poor hard enough. This is one thing that I can never get behind Bernie Sanders on, is giving kudos to Republicans. I understand why he does it. I get the reasoning, but man, stop. It is over. Republicans are ass, okay? They're a cancer. Anybody who labels themselves a Republican, anybody who labels themselves a conservative, they're done. They're cooked, dude. It's over, okay? Piss off. Yeah, broken clock twice a day, etc., etc. You still wouldn't wear it to tell the time, okay? You're going to throw that shit away, just like we should do with the Republican Party.
To proceeding on this bill. But here is something really interesting and
one thing I cannot get on board with
the Republican Party is today. When Senator Tillis of North Carolina indicated that he would vote against the bill, he was lambasted on social media by
Lambaste it.
Trump, and he was threatened with a primary. He actually did not do what Trump wanted him to do. Is there anything in this world that is worse than that? Today,
Okay.
Senator Tillis announced that he would not seek re-election. So it is pretty clear to me,
Coward.
and I would hope to every
That's right.
American, that the
Piss off.
Republican Party of today
Oh, you won't bow to Trump? Okay. Piss off then. Slither away.
does not tolerate any independent thought. One might have believed that members of Congress were elected to represent their constituents, to do what they thought right for their constituents. But that's not what it is in the Republican Party right now.
Or the Democrat Party, for that matter. Another thing that I wish you would do more of is slamming the Democrats for like all the shit they're doing against Zohran Mamdani, for instance. It's not like the Democrats are helping, you know? Like, look at Chuck Schumer. What has Bernie Sanders said about Chuck Schumer? Anything? I could be wrong. Maybe he has. I'm not trying to be mad at Bernie. I'm just trying to be as critical as possible here. Like, when's the last time he shit on Chuck Schumer, for instance? June 16, 2025. Sanders introduces no war act against Iran Act. Yeah, see, like, even in this article, I was looking for Bernie Sanders, Chuck Schumer, but, like, I don't think he has. He's not enough. You know, take it from a Bernie simp. He's not enough. I love the guy, but, you know, you got to take a stand.
The sole function of Republican members of Congress is just to tell Donald Trump how brilliant he is, how infallible he is.
That's true.
How great he is. Put up a statue of him on Mount Rushmore. Oh
Yeah,
my
right.
God.
Have another parade for him, too. We really need to make sure that all the money we have is going toward praising Donald Trump, right? That's government efficiency right there. That's cutting out the fraud, waste, and abuse right there, right?
If any Republican, like Senator Tillis, suggests otherwise, they will be politically destroyed. This is pathetic, and it has all of the hallmarks of the kind of authoritarian society that Trump wants to take us into. Dissent is simply not tolerated anymore within Republican ranks.
I'm glad he's calling them out on that, at least. He's doing a very solid job of calling out the Republicans as a whole, as opposed to just Trump. That's very good.
I don't have to tell anybody that this is an extremely difficult moment in American history. Trump and the oligarchs have unlimited wealth. They have a great deal of power, and they want more. But there is something that we have.
Numbers.
And we saw that just last week
With Zohran.
in the recent mayoral primary in New York City.
Dab him up, man.
So
Dab
what
him
you
up.
had is one candidate supported by all of
Butter up
the
my
big
mans.
money interest, all of the oligarchs. But you had the other candidate who was supported by ordinary people. And guess who won?
Yeah, Wisconsin, it's crazy because Wisconsin was just a prelude to what was to come, right? I forget the exact race that was going on, but I remember that Elon Musk was like dumping like oodles of money into the race in Wisconsin, and then he lost, right? Great stuff. Hopefully that continues. There's power in numbers, people. There's power in passionate and real advocacy. You know, the money machine, like money runs out, okay? Money runs out. Grassroots continuously grow.
The guy, Mr. Mamdani, who was supported by rank and file New Yorkers, won the election. So I think what we can learn from that is that if we stand together and not let Trump and his friends divide us up based on our religion or where we were born or our sexual orientation or the color of our skin, if we stand together, we can beat the oligarchs. And let me tell you, in this moment in history, that is exactly what we've got to do.
Good
Thanks
stuff.
very much.
Good stuff. Overall, very solid message from Bernie Sanders. A couple of notes here and there, but, you know, that guy's been fighting for progressive policy longer than most of us have even, you know, been on this earth. So, love the guy. Zohran Mamdani is the perfect man to take up the mantle. I'm glad that Bernie is unapologetically throwing his weight behind Zoran and calling out the Republicans for who they are and what they do. Like I said, I wish he would be a little bit more critical of the Democrats and the liberals. But at the end of the day, like, you know, he's just not, he doesn't got the fire, you know, he doesn't have it. Zoran does. But that's the big, beautiful bill, everybody. The big, brain-dead bill that is going to you, your parents, all of your friends and relatives. But you know who it will help? It will help the billionaires. It will help your bosses, probably, the business owners, the corporate oligarchs, the class that owns you and your soul. They will be raking in tons of money from this. So good stuff. We can look forward to that. We can look forward to 50,000 Americans dying per year, thanks to Donald Trump. Murdering them, I would go as far as to say Donald Trump and his administration and the Republicans are murdering people in this way, in a very indirect, roundabout way. You know, this is just where we're at in history, folks. So strap in and, you know, save up your money. You're going to need it. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more, hit the notification bell to be notified when I upload. If you enjoy my content, you enjoy what I do, I really appreciate any financial help that I can get. Go to youtube.com/AlecGunterTTV/join. You got some awesome benefits, such as seeing early videos, awesome emotes that you can use in the comments of YouTube videos, and a sweet badge next to your name. So if that sounds interesting to you, I'd really appreciate if you join. It is cheaper than the cost of a blowjob from your mom. So with all that being said, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.